So, what is your name?
My name's Blink, aka Bill Hinker.
How long have you been involved with the graffiti community?
Let's see, involved. Well, I mean, I've been writing on shit ever since I was a kid, but once I realized I could take it to a different level, I don't know, I guess I've been involved in like the Seattle graffiti community since probably about 98.
Okay. What first got you involved with street art?
Well, I always used to be like really into like stickers and like just putting my name on stuff. I used to be into like changing my signature a lot when I was like a kid, like younger. But I think like I used to see like people advertising with like stickers and things like that, and kind of realized like what makes them be able to do that? Why can't I do that? Once I met a couple people like earlier in high school and stuff like that from other areas. One of my buddies had lived in New York for a while. One of my buddies was from California. Another buddy I knew from Czech Republic. Just a lot of like influences and stuff like that kind of just got me into that and made me realize that if I was going to be advertising anything, might as well advertise myself. So I guess that's what I've been doing.
That's a good point. So what is your process like now that you've been doing graffiti for so long? You seem to have a set method down so that you can produce pieces quickly and make them look really good. Where do you find inspiration? And yeah, tell me about maybe some of the favorite colors you like to use, etc.
I guess it kind of just depends on like who I've been hanging out with or what colors are on the super cheap, depending on, I mean, I have a pretty big supply, nice stockpile of colors and stuff like that. A lot of time it has to do with you know, just getting the background buffed out, you know, just slapping some paint on there, depending on what color that is. Just a random mist tint or something to get free from the homies on Kickdown. Like I've been doing a lot of characters lately, so I guess it kind of depends on like what character colors there are. Really depends on, you know, what colors I'm trying to use. Something that kind of goes together. I mean, I like to do a lot of stuff with scrap cans and like to just kill a lot of cans, chill with the homies, but yeah, you know, sketch it out, start filling it in, and kind of, most of the time just kind of freestyle the fill, figure out what the fuck's going on, but it's nice to have a set plan, which happens every once in a while. Like I said, it helps with the character, kind of gives you a little theme, a little idea what's going on.
But mostly you just go for it and it works out.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, a lot of time in the middle you're pretty bummed with what's happening, but by the end result it's pretty chill. You know, it's nice to have positive input from a lot of other people, and you know, it's nice to be appreciated, I suppose, and have well, yeah, good comments.
Right on. So, I know you've been able to travel a lot through your graffiti, and I was just wondering if you can tell me about some of the places that you've been and maybe some of the different aspects to street art in the different countries and states you've been to.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been like doing a lot more stuff in the States. I did get an opportunity to go to China, which was super cool. I got hooked up with a buddy who lived around Seattle, also knew some people out in China, so I got hooked up with him, got to hang out with some real cool people out there, ABS crew, but mostly just getting hooked up with the right people and getting good supplies. There is definitely some graffiti out in China, but the style that you might imagine is really different, because as people mostly relate graffiti to be gang related, and a lot of scribbles and a lot of tags, which does exist everywhere. There's a ton of advertisement graffiti in China. What I was exposed to was nothing like, I never knew that it was going to be like that. There's phone numbers everywhere, and that's mostly what the graffiti is over there. They're advertising phone numbers with stencils, spray paint, stickers, wheat paste, ground paint, and that's the kind of shit that nobody pays attention to, and that's the kind of shit that people hate. So when you're actually putting something down with some paint, some colors, they're into it, you know? They can appreciate it, and it gives them something to look at, and it's an interesting process.
So you didn't get a negative response from people when they saw you painting in China?
No, I mean, honestly, half the time, I didn't know what the hell they were saying, obviously, because I don't speak it, but honestly, a lot of people were really interested. People walking their dogs, old women, young dudes, just people by the college, you know, everybody seemed to be real nice. All my friends that I was talking to when we would be painting spots, I would kind of ask them, hey, what were they saying? And they were like, yeah, they're just asking what it means, and they were saying they like the colors. We posted up at a few spots, abandoned lots, just rolled out the background and started painting, 7, 8 people deep sometimes. Hung out there for, 3 or 4 hours sometimes, and just kind of, yeah, it's wild. Like, you can put in a lot of work in other countries, and I definitely am trying to get over to places over like in London and maybe Brazil. I've made a couple contacts. Just traveling is pretty much the best way to make contacts and talking to other people.
Right on.
I spent a lot of time over in the States, going down to San Francisco and, Portland, taking road trips over, here, there, hitting up New York a little bit. Definitely not spending as much time in places that I'd like to. Sometimes you just get lucky just to go someplace for a minute and catch a couple flicks, but there's definitely a lot of good stuff going on. You kind of have to just get out there and try. It's easy to get comfortable where you are.
What is your opinion on street art in the gallery?
Well, I mean, I'd say like gallery, street art. Well, technically terms or whatever, it's like street art technically needs to be in the street, or it wouldn't be called street art. Once you put it into the gallery, it kind of loses definition. I mean, I think everything is just kind of definition. Like, what's the definition of graffiti? Everybody knows the definition of graffiti, but does anybody know the definition of art? I've never looked it up in the dictionary, Everybody knows how to spell art. Definitely everybody doesn't know how to spell graffiti. It's just one of those funny things where I think you can put any word in front of art and maybe legitimize your art. I mean, if cooking and pictures, video editing, and dress up, playing makeup and clothes is art, then anything can be art, But I think when you put street art into the gallery, it could be graffiti inspired or street art inspired. It loses a little bit of definition, but that doesn't mean that it can't still be appealing.
And lastly, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into graffiti or street art?
Well, I mean, obviously, times have changed a lot, There's, the internet is crazy. I mean, I'm not really that old, but I've seen the internet come up a ton. And I remember when I was a lot younger, I knew about graffiti, but I only knew about graffiti from rolling around the city. A couple of mags. I mean, I didn't even know there was graffiti mags when I was little. I found a few when I grew up, and we go to the record store or something like that and find a few down at the magazine joint, but there's so much available right now. Anybody can, quote unquote, make a name for themselves, whether it's positive, negative. You really have, I guess it's kind of like when your parents said when you were young, you can do whatever you want, you can grow up to be whatever you want. I mean, you really can. It just depends on how motivated you are, and what you want to do with yourself. I mean, yeah, graffiti has like a pretty negative effect with with most people that you will see, and if you say graffiti, you know, you don't get a real positive input most of the time. But depending on what you're doing and where you're doing it, you can make a pretty good name for yourself and have a lot of fun and meet a lot of great people. But I don't know. Just go for it. Don't work for you. Whatever, you know. But there's all types of art for everybody in the whole world, so better make yourself happy. Do what you like. I mean, anybody can get stuck in a 9-to-5 job and hate their life. But I don't know. I think being able to enjoy yourself in life is probably one of the best things that you can do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, Toasty out.
See ya.